Good evening. I'm Purnapriyananda Nithya, and tonight we're bringing you a paradigm-shifting conversation that challenges every Western psychology and everything Western psychology has told us about trauma, victimhood, and women's empowerment.
This is Vijayapriya Nityananda. For decades, women have been told that their past defines them, that trauma creates permanent victims, that karma is some cosmic punishment they must endure. Tonight, we dismantle these lies with ancient Hindu wisdom backed by cutting edge research.
This isn't just another empowerment talk. This is about understanding of karma and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings about for over 2 decades about karma. One that transforms victims into Paramashivas, into embodiments of divine.
Let's begin with a startling statistic. According to a 2024 research published in the Asian Journal of Social Psychology, belief in karma has been systematically misunderstood in the West, leading to what researchers call victim blaming. But what if we've been reading karma completely wrong?
Before we dive in deeper, let me share something personal. I grew up as a first generation Hindu American, constantly caught between two worlds. On one side, Western feminism, telling me that my Hindu traditions were oppressive. On the other side, a watered down version of Hinduism that couldn't answer my deepest questions.
Tonight, we're not just reporting a story, we're sharing a roadmap to liberation that could transform your life, whether you're considering becoming a sannyasini, a Hindu female monk, or an SJP, a founding mother of KAILASA, to the revival, a commitment to the revival of the authentic Hinduism.
And let's be clear, this is not about blind faith. Every teaching we discuss here tonight is backed by research, sociological, psychological, neuroscientific. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern science, and the results are explosive.
So let me read you something powerful from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. In October 2014, during a Navratri discourse, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism said, and
Strong words. But let's look at what psychology actually tells.
dimensions of victimhood as a personality trait. Let me walk you through them. First, the need for recognition of one's victimhood. These individuals constantly need others to acknowledge their suffering. Second, moral elitism. Despite seeing themselves as victims, they believe they are morally superior to others.
Third, lack of empathy for the suffering of others. When you're trapped in your own victimhood, you can't truly see other people's pain. And fourth, rumination about victimization, constantly replaying traumatic events, keeping them alive in your consciousness.
Now, here's the data that should wake everyone up. Their research, along with follow up studies through 2024, shows that people with high TIV scores experience number one, 64% higher rates of external locus of control, meaning they believe external forces control their lives.
Brilliantly. Listen to this powerful understanding. Every time we encountered life, shrinking was a response we adopted from a young age. When life tries to corner us, oh, I'm a small boy, I'm a small girl, I don't know anything, I'm innocent, that was a natural response with which we just tried to escape. That is why we celebrate stupidity.
We celebrate stupidity. Let that phrase penetrate. We've been taught, especially as women, that playing small, playing innocent, playing helpless is a survival strategy. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, calls it an addiction.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You claim victimhood to avoid responsibility, but that claim actually creates more victimization because you're broadcasting to the universe, I'm helpless. By constantly telling women you are oppressed by the patriarchy. Well-meaning feminists inadvertently created a victim identity, Women began seeing themselves primarily as victims of the system, rather than as powerful creators of their own reality.
Now, some viewers might be thinking, what about real victimization? What about women who've experienced abuse, violence, discrimination? Are you saying they are not victims?
Excellent question. And this is where the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings are so nuanced. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is not denying that harmful events can happen to you. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is saying that your relationship with those events, the meaning you assign them, the identity you build, determines whether you remain imprisoned by them.
The bottom line, victimhood has become an epidemic, especially among women. And the solution isn't more therapy that reinforces victim identity. It's a complete cognitive revolution. Or worse, they'll say, oh, karma has been used to justify caste oppression and victim blaming.
Researchers White and Wheeler documented cases where karma believers told rape victims, you must have done something in a past life to deserve this, or told impoverished communities, your poverty is your karma, accept it.
This is spiritual violence. This is karma used as a tool of oppression. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, has been fighting against this distortion for decades.
Because here's what most people don't understand. The Western interpretation of karma and even many modern Hindu interpretations are completely wrong. Karma is not cosmic punishment. It's not what goes around comes around, in some mechanical sense.
Karma is not tied to your actions. It's tied to your consciousness when you performed those actions.
Think of it this way. Imagine you committed a harmful act. Let's say you lied, stole, hurt someone, while operating from fear, scarcity, and victim consciousness. In that moment, you're vibrating at a certain frequency.
Karma means that frequency will attract consequences that match it. And this is the key. If you transform your consciousness, if you raise your frequency to the level of Paramashiva consciousness, the karmic consequences can't reach you. You've literally moved to a different dimension.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism uses a brilliant visual analogy. Traditionally, karma is shown like dominoes falling. You push the first domino and eventually they all fall and the last one hits you. You see, karma only operates in a circle only if you remain in that same spot. If you elevate yourself, the circle cannot complete. The last domino cannot fall on you.
Now, this isn't just a spiritual philosophy. This is actually consistent with quantum physics. The observer effect in quantum mechanics shows that consciousness affects reality. Change the observer, change the observation.
And it's consistent with neuroscience. A 2023 study in Frontiers in Psychology examined long-term meditators who reported transcendental experiences. Brain scans show measurable changes in their default mode network, the network responsible for self-referential thinking and narrative identity.
So when you change your consciousness, you literally rewire your brain. You're not the same person who experienced the trauma or who committed the harmful act. At a neurological level, you are new.
This is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism emphasizes initiation, diksha. When you receive spiritual initiation, you are reborn into a higher consciousness. This is known as dvija in Sanskrit, or twice born.
And here's where this becomes liberating for women specifically. Think about how many women carry shame, guilt, and karma from abusive relationships where they were told they were worthless, sexual assault where they blamed themselves, societal conditioning that said their value was in their appearance or childbearing, family karma and generational trauma passed down through mothers and grandmothers.
Traditional interpretations of karma would say, you're stuck with this. You have to work through it slowly, lifetime after lifetime. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says, no. You raise your consciousness right now, and those karmas lose their power.
Now, here's where this connects to Hindu feminism in a profound way. In Hindu tradition, as documented in the Manusmriti and the other Dharma Shastras, there's a
in KAILASA's jurisprudence.
Just imagine a legal system where a woman escaping domestic violence who perhaps harmed her abuser in self-defense is not judged by her action but by her consciousness, where her spiritual evolution is recognized as transformation.
This is not getting away with it. This is recognizing that consciousness transformation is more powerful than punishment as a tool for creating a harmonious society.
This is empowerment. This is liberation. This is karma as technology, not as theology.
So for every woman watching who's been told your trauma is your karma, just accept it. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says, that's a lie. Your past does not determine your future. Your consciousness does. Raise it and watch your karma dissolve.
Now we come to the heart of the matter. What is Hindu feminism and why is it different from Western feminism?
Let's start with what Western feminism got wrong. Right. The suffrage movement, equal pay advocacy, reproductive rights, challenging patriarchal structures. These were necessary battles. You already are power. You do not need to fight for it. You just need to realize it.
And this isn't modern revisionism. This is straight from ancient text. Hinduism is the only major world religion that worships God as feminine, not just as an aspect, but as the ultimate reality.
While other traditions have God, the Father, Hinduism has Parashakti, Paramashiva Shakti, the primordial divinity, the primordial mother. While others have male prophets and saviors, Hinduism has goddesses who yield weapons, destroy demons, and grant liberation.
A spiritual agency. This is the key differentiator. Western feminism says you gain agency through external power, political representation, economic independence, legal rights. Hindu feminism says you already have agency. It's intrinsic to your divine nature.
Di in Sanskrit means awakened individual, not intellectual knowledge, but intelligence that functions from Advaita, from non-duality, from the understanding that you are not separate from the divine.
And here's what's beautiful. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism says this awakened intelligence is especially accessible to women.
The Divine Mother is described as infinitely compassionate toward those who seek her. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be sincere. You don't have to have conquered all your demons. You just have to be willing to try.
Yes, and this is profoundly feminist in the true sense. It says women don't need to be superhuman or flawless. Devi is the ruler of the universe. She is the form of all that exists. Without Shakti, Shiva is powerless, not helper, not complement, powerless.
The Shakta tradition, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism comes from, teaches that ultimate reality is feminine. Shiva without Shakti.
Cosmic constitutional rights. Let that sink in. Not rights granted by governments or societies, but rights inherent in your very existence. The right to be treated as divine.
And this applies especially to women because women have been systematically denied this recognition. Patriarchy doesn't just deny women political power, it denies women their divinity.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, himself has consecrated thousands of women as leaders, as sannyasinis, positions of spiritual authority. In KAILASA, women lead temples, deliver discourses, and perform initiations.
This isn't affirmative action. This isn't quota filling. This is recognition that women's spirituality capacity is unique and identical to men, because at the level of consciousness, there is no gender.
And yet, the feminine principle is honored as the active force. Shakti is what moves, creates, destroys, transforms. Shiva is the witnessing consciousness.
So Hindu feminism says, as a woman, you embody both. You are the witness consciousness, Shiva, and the transformative energy, Shakti. You don't need to fight anyone. You just need to awaken what you already have.
This is why connecting with Goddess is so transformative. When a woman sees Durga destroying demons, she's not seeing someone else. She's seeing her own potential. When she sees Kali dancing on the patriarchy, literally standing on Shiva, she's seeing her own power.
That's Hindu feminism: power, accountability, and divine connection, not victimhood.
So we've established that victimhood is an addiction, that karma is consciousness based and that can be transcended, and that Hindu feminism offers divine identity, not victim identity, and that completion is the technology for transformation.
Now let's talk about the ultimate expression of this empowerment: becoming a Hindu sannyasi, or a Hindu female monk, or an SJP, a founding mother of KAILASA.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaches that when you stop claiming victimhood and start operating from Paramashiva consciousness, life reorganizes itself around your new frequency. Opportunities appear, resources materialize, obstacles dissolve.
Why? Because victimhood is contracting energy. Psychologically, when you're in victim consciousness, you're in that neuroscientists call threat mode. Your brain is literally scanning for dangers, dismissing opportunities.
Your amygdala, the fear center, is hyperactive. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and possibility thinking, is suppressed. You are in survival mode, not thriving mode.
But when you shift to Paramashiva consciousness, I am complete, I am powerful, I am divine, you enter what researchers call challenge mode or approach motivation.
Your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of possibility. Your perception literally expands. Studies using fMRI show that people in empowered states have 40% wider visual perception and 67% better peripheral awareness than those in the fear states.
You started seeing solutions everywhere: business opportunities, connections, synchronicities, not because they weren't there before, but because you couldn't perceive them from the victim consciousness.
Swadharma, your own dharma, monasticism, is often seen as repressive, as women escaping or being forced away from normal life. But in the Hindu tradition, especially in the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's lineage, sannyasinis are the most empowered beings on the planet.
Why? Because they've renounced the very identities they create suffering. They're not defined by their biology, their relationships, their past traumas, their social responsibilities and roles. They stand in pure consciousness.
Think about the freedoms a sannyasi,
Not fighting patriarchy, but transcending all social constructs entirely.
So here we are at the end of our journey tonight. But really, is this just the beginning? This is just the beginning.
Let's recap the teachings that we've explored tonight. First, victimhood is not a legitimate identity. It's an addiction, a poison that destroys your divine nature. Women especially have been socialized into this pattern, and breaking free from it is a step to empowerment.
Second, karma is not a punishment for past actions. It's consequences of past consciousness. When you raise your consciousness to Paramashiva level, karmic consequences cannot touch you. You are literally operating in a different dimension.
And third, Hindu feminism is fundamentally different from Western feminism. It's not about fighting for power. It's about realizing you are power. You are the divine feminine. You are Shakti. You are Paramashiva.
Fourth, completion is the technology for transformation by systematically releasing incompletions, especially incompletions about incompletions. You remove the layers covering your natural completeness.
And fifth, the ultimate expression of this empowerment is becoming a sannyasini or a sarvajñapita yajaman, making a total commitment to consciousness over materialism, to truth over comfort, to Paramashiva over victim identity.
Now,
the victimhood narrative that's been sold to you by mainstream feminism, by Western psychology, by society, by well-meaning, misguided allies is a lie.
And you're not broken, you're not damaged, you're not defined by your traumas, your past, your mistakes, or your pain.
You are Paramashiva. You have cosmic constitutional rights to think, feel, exist. Is not asking you to believe blindly. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is asking you to experiment, to understand these truths and apply them in your own life.
Women who know their power, women who've completed with their past, women who stand in their divinity without apology.
You just have to choose completion over victimhood, consciousness over identity, Paramashiva over your patterns.
So tonight, before you sleep, do your first completion practice. Tomorrow morning, sit before the Divine Mother for 5 minutes. This week, watch one full discourse of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, on YouTube.
And do this every day. Message us. Tell us how your life has transformed, because it will. Not because we say so, but because consciousness transformation is a scientific process.
And when you change your consciousness, you change your karma. When you change your karma, you change your life. And when you change your life, you change the world.
This is Hindu feminism. This is your birthright.
Thank you for watching this special episode. And for more resources, you can scan the QR code. This is how you can contact us if you are interested in becoming a sannyasini or a founding mother or father of KAILASA.
Yes, and do hit the subscribe button and learn more about the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teachings, how you can experience completion and the real Hindu feminism. If you are feeling the call, do visit the QR code and learn more about how you can become a part of KAILASA, become a sannyasini, or become a sarvajñapita yajaman.
And until next time, live powerfully, live as Paramashiva. Thank you.